Greetings. Welcome to Growth Hacking Show, where we have entrepreneurs, serial entrepreneurs, CEOs, founders, and people who want to be entrepreneur come and actually watch, take their expression, how they can actually grow their business. To grow your business, first you have to do what are the mistakes to avoid, because otherwise you may get hurt. And many people, once they get hurt, they never actually get up and actually start walking. So for that purpose, I have a very special guest. It's a little bit out of the norm, what type of guest you have been watching my interviews. However, this is going to change, because whatever he's going to share with us today, you have not been taught in the school. In fact, missed completely. 98% people have missed that knowledge completely. And I am one of them. In fact, I probably have so big of a regret in last 15 years ago. I wish I knew this one thing, what he's going to share with us. My life could have been completely different. I could have been talking to my guests completely different way. I'm not saying I won't be interviewing anyone anymore. However, because that's how we learn from each other. Okay. In case you don't know me, my name is Mohammed Siddique. I'm the host of a growth hacking show and the co-author of New Success Secrets, available on Amazon. Today, my special guest is Mike Adams. Mike Adams is from Minnesota, great place, very cold, windy in the winter. Really the city in the winter. However, he is making a very good things over there, and right from his windy place, he is helping all of us all over the United States to actually financially empower ourselves. When it comes to giving and empowering you with the financial literacy, he comes authentically, and I watched many of his presentations online. That then I thought, you know what, I have to get to the Mike Adams to actually talk. I followed his process like a spying on him, gone through his process, becoming a student. And then when I went on a call, I said, Mike, I really wanted you to come and actually share with all of us outsiders who are not even your student, because that's how we can actually, you are on the mission to empower others, and I'm trying it too. So let's join our hands to please give a warm welcome to my guest, Mike Adams. Mike, welcome.
Hey, thank you, Siddique. I'm honored to be here.
Yeah. Mike, let me start with this. Where were you? What happened? Who you were surrounded with that inspired you to get on the giving mode, empowering others?
Gosh, the short and sweet of it is when I got on this whole kick of empowering others to achieve freedom through business ownership and really real estate investing, financial literacy. My wife and I were broke and buried in debt out there in corporate America. We went to school, we got the good grades, we got the degrees, we got great jobs. We were making over six figures, but yet every single month we were slipping further and further and further into debt, and we really couldn't figure out why. And what we noticed is that everyone around us, because they were all employees as well, it was all happening to them as well. And no one could seem to figure it out. And so I got connected. My wife and I wanted something different. And we have a set of young twins at home. And when they were born, we wanted to create something that could get me out of the cubicle, get my wife out from behind her salon chair. She was a full-time cosmetologist, and be able to raise our kids together at home and create some passive income. And so we got connected to a group of real estate investors and started just looking at life differently. We started to open our mind to more creative ways to raise money, ways to use money. And since then, we've been able to go on and change our lives, and been able to empower hundreds, if not thousands of others by now to change their lives as well.
Wonderful. That's an amazing story. Mike, why is it important for you to change other people's lives instead of me, just grabbing it to yourself? Because many people in your position, I'm open to say that when you ask them how you create a success, how can I help you, they don't really share that much. Why? You are completely the opposite. Why is that?
I don't know. I guess maybe I'm just wired a little bit differently. I mean, back when I grew up, I come from northern Wisconsin, where it's all about hard work. Like I said, go to school, get the good grades, work at that company forever, and things will work out. And all of my friends, were struggling financially, and we were all living that philosophy, and it wasn't working. And so as I started to learn these secrets myself and started sharing them, just even with my friends and family and people in my close network, they were just shocked at the things that I was learning. And I was like, okay, I'm going to speak on this a little bit more. So I started doing webinars, and eventually now we do live events locally to share this information, because what might be basic to like for business owners, for entrepreneurs, we're exposed to a lot of the other things around taxes, insurance, interest, fees, things like that, where most people are not. And so just to share something that might seem like something that's common knowledge to advanced business owners, to share that with other people, it truly changes their whole financial trajectory. So I definitely get a big jolt when I'm able to help people with that.
Wonderful. I'm going to share this LinkedIn, your profile. You have amazing profile, Mike. Great looking group on the back room here. So you say, would you like to, that's your first time, would you like to pay off your 30 years mortgage in a fraction of the time? It's almost like 1/3 of the time while you build a real estate portfolio, empire, and with other people money. And of course, you have your marketing pitch here too. So you are actually, it's really a business. And, in a business, most of the people have a debt. And before you are watching this right now, you may not know about me. In 2006, I bought a few gas stations and shopping centers with a multi-million dollars, $3.4 million, $1.4 million, and $1.9 million. Combine it all together, $6, $7, $8 million. Mm-hmm. I wish I knew this one little thing about paying off your mortgage early in 1/3 of the time, 6-7 years. 6-7 years later, I have been paying one thing very consistently, paying the highest interest to the bank. The bank was making money from me. I didn't know I could have changed the side altogether, and probably very close to, if not paid off, maybe very close to paid off the property. I would have never sold that, myself.
That's right.
As a homeowner, guess what? I could apply it on the same thing. In case you don't own a home yet, you probably have a student debt.
Yeah.
If not, you have a business. In your business, you probably, dentists have so much debt. Doctors have so much debt, especially from the student loan. So we're talking about debt is a part of the life, the built-in part of this quote unquote American life.
That's right.
So your expertise are to share with them how they can actually do it 1/3 of the time of the duration of that that life. So take it away, share with us whatever you like. This open question, you can take as much as time you want to actually, so that way people understand and we can trigger them to see their life. Yeah.
I'd be more than happy to. And it's such a great point that you make. And I have another colleague, he's a doctor, he's in Arizona, and it's the same thing where we have a conversation later today because he's got a business and he actually just refinanced, right? He just refinanced a huge loan. And then he came across my YouTube channel and was like, no, like I wish I wouldn't have refinanced. I didn't understand. And that's what it is. When it comes to banking, most people are just never taught anything when it comes to money. What are we taught? In schools, we're taught the Pythagoras theorem, right? We're taught that triangle and how important that triangle is to our everyday life. Well, after 18 years in corporate America, I never once used that triangle to make a sale or make money out there in corporate America. I never used it, but they made sure we learned it. And, and obviously there's a reason behind all that. And so for us, it's about turning on those lights. It's, learning how to use the tools that are available. Like, for example, a line of credit. Most people would never even consider utilizing a line of credit in the way that we're suggesting because we're taught the complete opposite. Oh, you don't want to use a line of credit because it might have a higher interest rate than your loan, right? So you don't want to do any chunking or take anything over because, it's a higher interest over there. That's the simple way to look at it. We're not taught to look at the back end of these loans, the back end of the amortization. If we could take a chunk off the back end, how much interest did that just save us off of the life of that loan? And so it's not always about interest rate, it's about interest paid. And so using our technique, it's about reducing the amount of interest paid without so much worrying about the rate. We're taught to think about the rate. We're taught to get yourself into that low fixed rate. We're taught to take your high interest credit cards and roll them into a low interest loan. And somehow that saves us money. But that's just not the case.
That's a shocking truth, basically. That's why, I watch most of your videos and we are on this call. So give us one example for someone who can understand $200,000 loan or something which you probably, anything you want to share. So for us to have a comparison of understanding, for more clarity.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I have a couple of great videos on this on the channel where I actually pull out like an amortization chart and show people the numbers. But the number one thing to remember about the difference between, I guess, a line of credit and a loan. A line of credit is a two-way lending instrument. It's revolving, where a loan is a one-way lending instrument. And with loans, they have what's called an amortized repayment schedule. And if you don't know what the word amortization means, look it up. You'll probably find an evil picture right next to it, because it is truly evil, because that is where they're locking you in for X amount of years to pay fixed interest every single month on those loans. And so because of that repayment schedule on the front end of any loan, the highest portion of your payment, so day one on your loan, you send in that payment, the highest percentage of your payment is going to be interest on day one of that loan. As you progress through the repayment schedule, the percentage of your payment that goes to principal increases, the percent that goes to interest gets smaller. But at the front end of the loan, that's when you're paying the bulk of the interest. And so the goal of the banks, here's the big secret, the goal of the banks is to keep you in the front end of your loan, right? So let's say you've been making payments on your home for 4 or 5 years. They're going to call you up and say, all right, Siddique, great job. You've been making your payments every single month. You're starting to, get down here on the amortization. Let's save you $50 a month and let's have you refinance your loan. We'll save you a little bit on your monthly payment, but they just reset the clock on your amortization, send you back to the beginning of your repayment schedule where you're paying the highest amount of interest all over again. That's the trap that the banks are trying to keep people in over and over and over.
Deep breath again. So what that really, if I heard it correctly, when the bank calls for refinance, what should I do with that call?
Well, and what I advise is just understanding what the refinance actually is and what it actually does. Because again, we're taught to think, kind of like when we buy a home, we're taught to think, well, how much is the payment? Yeah. And as long as I can afford the payment, dangle the keys, give me those keys. It's the same thing with refinancing. We think, okay, well, I'm going to save $50 a month on my payment, but we're not thinking about what's happening on the back end of this loan product. How much interest did we now pay? You paid those first 5 years of interest, and now you're kind of throwing all that interest out the window and restarting the loan again. And a lot of people do that and don't realize what they're actually doing. You turn that 30-year loan into a 40-year loan.
Yeah, definitely. However, if they would have been followed a certain process and they start right from day one the right way, and by the time 4 or 5 years later bank calls, you won't be getting a call anyway for a refi, because this guy has been paying all the principals already, and not what you may not even picked up by this to make a call.
Well, they might still call you, because the bank, they want you to stay on the front end of that loan. So they might say, hey, Siddique, you're paying this thing off too quick. Let's refinance this. But they'll certainly try. But we just need to, and there are reasons. I'll say this, in the defense of refinancing, there are reasons to refi. I've actually advised some clients to do that, even though we know that it resets the clock, we know all those things, but there's a cash flow reason. Like maybe there's a cash flow reason to do a refinance so you can have increased cash flow on a monthly basis. But then utilize a new strategy like velocity banking to then attack that newly refinanced loan, knowing how damaging that move was. So, there are reasons to refinance, okay, but it's just about being aware of what's actually happening when you actually do it.
Mm-hmm. So what are the top 3 mistakes from your quote unquote students and the other entrepreneurs who are following that strategy? What are the top 3 missteps they do in implementing that so that way they don't really get the intended results?
So are you talking about like as far as like launching a business, or as far as utilizing these strategies?
Utilizing these strategies.
Yeah, well, the number one thing is just awareness. I think we were talking about this prior to the call starting out, but you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah.
And that is the number one key thing when it comes to money, is that knowledge around money, knowledge around banking, that none of that information is going to seek you out. That's the kind of information you need to seek out on your own. And so, and that's why most people don't know this stuff, because you got to take those action steps to get out there and actually learn this stuff. My wife and I were broke and buried in debt for years out there in corporate America and couldn't figure out why. We got connected to a different network of people that turned us on to some different things to learn about, and we took action to learn about those things. And it's because of that we were able to actually start taking in new knowledge and start taking new actions in our life, and that's when things started to change. So, being aggressively seeking out new information to better your financial scenario.
Wonderful, wonderful, Mike. Based on your diversified experience over the years, you got the financial freedom. What are the top three missteps to avoid when it comes to growing your business? Because you are broke and now you are, on the other side of the table, and you have seen it. You probably know so many of them. We just want to know top three. Just give us the top three so we don't do those mistakes.
Top three things to avoid. Okay, let me look at my big board. Top three things to avoid, man, because there's a big old list. As an entrepreneur, I mean, there are just so many things, but you learn. I guess the number one thing I would say to avoid as far as launching in any kind of new business or anything as an entrepreneur is to avoid the shiny object syndrome. And what is that? So for a new business owner, there's all kinds of things to focus on, right? There's all kinds of things to focus on. There's all kinds of different tools that you can use. There's all kinds of different systems and support networks, and there's all these things that you need. And the one thing you want to do is you want to be able to focus on something, build that system out, and then move on to the next system without getting distracted by the next, here's this new idea, or here's this new, certainly, especially with marketing, when it comes to being a business owner, marketing is one of those things where there's a lot of shiny objects. Like, okay, well, here's the new chat bot thing that you can try, or the new system that does this. It's like, don't get distracted by all the little things and just focus on the core things that are your true money-making activities. So that'd be number one.
Yeah, two more.
Oh, so the next one on my list here is to what I call DEA, okay? As a business owner and as an entrepreneur, it's easy to get burnt out, especially if you're trying to do everything on your own. And being a veteran, I was kind of wired like that. It's like, if you want something done right.
You lost your audio. We lost your audio. Mike, you're back now.
Okay. All right. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
So
you were talking about the second.
Oh, yes. And not trying to take on everything by yourself. It's so easy to be, as an entrepreneur, to get burnt out. So you want to, and what I created, and I did a training on this for my team, was about DEA. When you're starting to take on these tasks, you want to find things that you can either delegate, eliminate, or automate. Okay. So I'm very big on putting different systems in place, because at the beginning of my business, I had Post-it notes everywhere, and I was trying to remember everything, and it was just an absolute fiasco. And you got to get to a point and start treating your business like a real business and delegate things out. I call it like, you got the $10 an hour jobs in your business, and then you got the high ticket, high value things in your business. You need to be focused on the high value things in your business, and anything that you would consider like a $10 an hour job, delegate that out to someone else. Okay. If and if it's not something you're willing to delegate and pay someone to do, hey, maybe you want to eliminate that from your whole deal. Maybe it's not that important. Or would be find a way to automate it. So delegate, eliminate, or automate as many tasks as humanly possible in your business, so that way you don't get overwhelmed or burnt out.
Mike, wonderful. I don't know why we have never met before. However, we're talking about the same thing, because that's a big part of my book, by the way, New Success Secrets. And we call it the 4 Ds. Do it, delegate it, dump it, or date it. That's it. Do it, delegate it, date it if you want to do it in future, or dump it. We are talking about the same thing,
I like it. I like it.
So wonderful. That's amazing. So we are like a brother from another man,
Brother from another mother. That's right. No, and so for the third thing to avoid would then just be, the old saying, your network is your net worth. So avoid toxic people. At the beginning of my business, everyone around me wasn't a business owner, right? So everyone around you is like, no, don't do it. Don't, it's risky. You're taking on, you're working too hard, but you're getting advice from people that aren't, where they aren't at where you want to be in their business or financially. but yet we're taking in a lot of negativity. So you want to eliminate toxic people from your life. And sometimes, it's a bummer when it's a good friend. Like I had several colleagues from my old job that mindset wise, when I decided that I was gonna be an entrepreneur, go out there and risk it and go out there and start something to try to create value, they were against it. They were like, I was crazy to even think about doing a business. So every time they were around me, it's like they had something negative to say about how it's not going well enough. And so eventually you just have to remove negative people from your life and then replace them with somebody positive that's going to help move you towards your goals.
Wonderful. That I'm going to extend that question to a little bit. You say eliminate those, negative people, toxic from your life. How when somebody has people in their own family, because many family people members.
I suppose you can't just eliminate them.
How do you do that?
Well, on a personal level, I would say, let's just say it was, Uncle Joe. And, Uncle Joe, you love Uncle Joe, right? But you don't necessarily want his advice about your business. Yeah. Then I would just kind of clearly state that, be like, Joe, I love you. I always have. I've always respected your opinion, but your opinion is exactly that. And when it comes to my business, this is what I'm doing. And what I want is your support. So, I would just ask that you please support me in this. This is what I'm doing. This is what I'm passionate about. And I got a lot of fire behind this and I'm excited, and if you have something negative, say, or just negative opinion, I would ask that you just keep it to yourself.
Or pass on to somebody else. I'm not taking it anymore.
That's right. That's right.
Wonderful. So Mike, what are the top 3 success secrets for business growth based on your experience?
Okay. Number 1 would be willingness to invest in yourself. That was one of those things, just making that transition. That's something that I specialize in, is helping people that are making that transition from employee to entrepreneur. I was a military veteran. I was in corporate America for 18 years. So as far as like just having that mindset of, I already went to school, I already got the degree, I don't need to learn anything else, I'm good at my job, right? But when you become an entrepreneur, there's new stuff to learn constantly. And so your mindset around investing in yourself, especially around your knowledge, that has to change. Because if you're not willing to invest in yourself, you're not going to learn the things that you need to learn to move your business forward. And again, that one's a tough for a lot of people. They're like, gosh, I just kind of want something to be quick and easy and cheap. And I'll tell you, last year, my wife and I spent quite a bit of money, on personal coaching, personal development, on different programs. Even though our business, every year that our business has gotten more successful, we've invested more into ourselves because we are our best investment.
Yeah. So my mentor used to call it, this is the most expensive, this 2-inch real estate, this is the most expensive one. This is the 2-inch real estate,
It is.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, he on the front of the stage, he asked, do you know which city, where is the most expensive real estate? Everybody say L.A., New York. I say, yeah, this 2-inch. That's it.
Yeah. That's you're absolutely correct, man.
Okay,
it's
that's it.
Between your ears.
Yeah. So, Mike, that's one. Invest into yourself. Then what's number 2?
The second one would be to seek out mentorship. And a lot of people wait on this. And again, they have the do-it-yourself kind of attitude. Like, I'm going to self-teach myself everything. Well, if that's the case, you're postponing your results. You're putting them way out there because, there are some people that have been working on a certain thing, like in real estate. There's all kinds of different things that you can be an expert in as far as real estate. If you're going to try to be the expert on everything, it's going to take you decades to learn it all. And by the time you learn it all, guess what? Your chance at a business is already gone, So, go out there and find people that are already doing whatever it is you want to be doing, that are already achieving success, doing what it is you want to be doing, and then connect with them. See if you can find a way to create value for them and connect with them so that we can learn from them. So seek out the mentorship, seek out the coaching. Don't have so much pride. And maybe, I don't know if that's like a Minnesota thing or a northern Wisconsin thing, but everyone's got this pride and they want to do it on their own. But when it comes to business, it's so much easier and saves you so much more time to seek out the advice of someone who's already been there.
Yeah, that's why we are on this call because I'm trying to take your knowledge and information and pass on to my community so that way they can learn it. So that's why I'm not trying to learn on my own. That's why we have you on this call, Mike.
That's right.
So one more, just give us as one more as a bonus because I'm being greedy now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's nothing wrong with being a little greedy. No, and honestly, I would just say the third layer to that. It's like you want your focus on your personal development, investing in yourself. You want to seek out mentorship, and then the craziest one, which is sometimes the toughest for them all, is actually being coachable. It's like, okay, so you invested in personal development, you invested in a coach, and now the coach is giving you advice. Are you open to it? And so many times, it's like we've been in business for so long, or like me, I was in sales for a long time. So I had a certain way, I know sales and it goes this way. And it's like, and you bring in a coach and he's got all these different techniques and ideas for you to use. And again, this coach is at where you want to be at. So when you finally have the opportunity to learn from that mentor, learn from that coach, open your ears. Well, what's the old saying? We're given one mouth and two ears for a reason. You should listen more than twice as much as you should talk. And so when you have that coach, when you have that mentor, be coachable, take in what they're giving to you, and then execute. Okay, but definitely be coachable.
Wonderful, wonderful. That's a really truly blessed lesson to have, that be coachable, because that's why when you actually walk into the room, park your ego outside and just be humble and start receiving it.
Yes.
So
Yep.
Mike, when it comes to growth, how are you growing your empire right now in this economy?
Leading with value. I think right now in this economy, that's everything. And obviously, I know you're in marketing as well. And people are kind of getting they're fed up with the old school push style of marketing. People, they want to be given value first, and then they deserve value first. So I'm focused purely and utterly growing our business through, we're doing a lot of content creation right now on our YouTube channel, and we're looking to just provide empowering value to as many people as possible that we can get onto our channel, onto our social media, so they can start following us, learning these techniques. And from there, through giving that value, there'll be enough people that end up wanting to connect further. Maybe they want to partner with me or work with me on one of my various projects or whatnot. But it all starts with leading with value. So we're creating content mainly on the YouTube channel right now, and on our website here, we're also posting content as well.
Wonderful. Think like the wealthy.com. That's a great, actionable quote. Almost think like wealthy.com. I help people become financially free. So, and this is a great website, and there's a link, work with me, and the videos to watch, and his story, and free training. And folks, my friends, you're watching this, I have gone through this step myself to get on this call with Mike. So just follow the steps. It works.
It works. That's right.
So how the Growth Hacking Show community can support you, Mike?
Well, gosh, I would just say jump on the channel. If you can connect, maybe we could post a link somewhere to the YouTube channel. My whole mission right now is just getting and raising awareness around financial literacy. If I'm shooting everyone straight here, I think there's a lot of things to be concerned about when it comes to the market, when it comes to the economy. There's just, I think we were talking about before the call here about Social Security running out by the year 2035. And, we're hearing all these things from the Fed, and we're hearing about the US dollar being potentially no longer the reserve currency. All of these things, it's like we hear about them on the news, but we have no correlation to our everyday life. And so my goal with the channel is to take these kind of, big world things, and it's like, look, this is how it affects you at the kitchen table and why you need to be prepared for it. So, be in the know, just like in 08, when the market crashed back in 08, there were so many people that were blindsided. Even though all the breadcrumbs were there were so many people that were totally blindsided by what happened, and they weren't prepared, and they lost their retirement, they lost their home, lost their jobs, lost their business. But yet there are other people that did incredibly well during that time because they were prepared. They did have the tools in place. They had their money in the right place to where they were able to absorb that storm, ride it out, and then be in position to buy when things were incredibly cheap. And so that's the goal of the channel, is to give people the knowledge so that way they can put those tools in place to improve their lives. So how can the community support me? Jump on the channel, learn as much as you can, and then pass these same messages on to other people in your own networks.
Yeah, links to Mike Adams' channel is given with this video. Wherever you're watching this, link will be there. So you can click on the link and actually watch more. So Mike, as we are about to wrap up, what would you say as a final word?
Always ask questions. As far as on the banking and loan side of it, when it comes to loans, in the military, they used to always tell us, keep it simple, stupid. And they used to always also tell us that the only dumb question is one that you don't ask. Yeah. But in life, we're taught that you need to be perfect. In life, we're taught if you go to your job and you don't know the answers, you're going to get fired. So we're taught that we need to know everything. So we don't want to ask questions. But yet we're signing these loan documents for 30 years, 15 years. And not really understanding them. So number one, when it comes to your loans and your documents, don't be afraid to ask questions and get really, really specific about those questions, because that is your financial life. Whoever's writing the loan for you, they're not going to be the ones going to work to pay that bill. You are. So ask those questions and be in the know. And as far as, launching your business and being an entrepreneur, just understand that there's going to be ups and downs to any business. There's going to be, the ebbs and flows to it. And, but if you take enough small action, if you take consistent small action day after day after day, it leads to bigger results. And my wife and I, we were able to start a business part-time and keep taking action steps. In over 7 months, we were able to get out of corporate America altogether and go full-time in our business because we kept taking action. So for all you entrepreneurs out there, take action and keep doing it.
Take action and keep doing it. That's it. That's the key. Being consistent, not taking one action one day and then the next day going back to something else.
Every day. And
life is learning is forever. So you keep learning. So always be learning and always be networking and always be getting coaching and mentoring people like Mike Adams and many others, wherever business you're running in. Thank you so much, Mike, for sharing your wisdom with us today on the behalf of Growth Hacking Show community and our entire team. We really appreciate you. This is Mohammed Siddique signing off from Atlanta, Georgia, wishing you good luck and good sales. I do hope our path cross again with an amazing guest. Until then, all best wishes.
All right. See ya.